the Expedition 33 spoiler cast will commence right now.
Okay, so this is going to include spoilers for literally every single thing in Expedition 33. So if you don't want to hear anything that could possibly spoil you about the Expedition 33 Clair Obscur, the video game, it would be a really good time to stop listening to us right now.
Goodbye.
And leave and turn your ears off and do whatever you need to do.
Giving them a nice little delay. There you go. Everybody out. You know what? If you type "I'm out," you're taking too long. Just go.
Yeah, you've already taken far too long to be like, haha.
If you're saying goodbye and you still get spoiled because you're taking too long to type it, then too bad for you.
We've given you like way more than we usually do.
Okay, so here's where I'm at. FYI, the only thing I have not done is Simon.
Yo, that dude's a motherfucker, man.
Simon,
oh shit.
Simon is a fucking problem.
Oh man, hey, could you not tell that they liked From Software games? Holy shit, dude.
I wandered up, as I said, I was scraping through Act 3, and I wandered up to Renoir's drafts, and I got to the end, and I was like, okay, I can see this room is meant to be a challenging, heavy damage
everything
room.
in here is like a super freak. Everything is crazy.
But not as crazy as doing 11 million damage. You know, and then you walk down and fall to the bottom of the abyss, and Artorias is sitting there, you know,
and he's got the French Moonlight Great Sword,
and you're like, oh, it's the guy who made the map look like what it looks like.
It's the guy who committed an atom bomb on the one axon you never get to fight.
Exactly. And I'm like, let's see what it's about. And then the force form goes down like nothing. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, it's not that bad. That's like a real fight, but okay.
And then the real fight begins, and you're like, oh, they're waiting. This is the fight that's left for the stupid freaks, the ones like us.
Yeah, this is like, hey, listen. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna mandate something that only like 2 bosses in the entire game do, which is parrying within your own parry animation.
I mean,
fuck.
Like, and putting strings of variable timing out there that are like 10 hits long, you know,
and with double timing on all of them.
Yep. There's the ghost swings, right? And then you just get the like, oh, did you go down and have a turn go by? Party member, you're removed
from the canvas.
So I was like, okay, this is real. This is the last real thing. I can tell, and I will be back.
This is breaking the rules. It's like he is smashing the rules of the system.
Yep. So I don't know. Are you getting back to it, or did you do it?
Oh, I killed his ass.
Oh, you did it. Okay,
he's fucking cooked.
So I didn't.
Did you get to phase 3?
Huh? Did
you get to phase 3?
No. I didn't.
Okay,
I got to phase 2 and I was like, all right, like I'll be back later.
You think phase 2 is crazy.
Yeah.
Phase 3 is so crazy that I built my party around skipping it.
Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Phase 3 is so nuts that I built the entire team around feeding my L.
Okay.
So she could do a 25 million point hit. And just fly through the entire thing.
So that Min told me that there was a bugged out damage on Stedhall?
No, that's not it.
Okay, because he told me that there was a bug on the amount of damage that you could one-shot everything, and I was like, and he said, I just did that, and I was like, oh, so you like
so
the fight skip.
Stedhall got nerfed. Stedhall was bugged to do like way more damage, but it was patched by the time you ever got to Sten.
Okay.
No, what I did was I used roulette and every single damage buff picto that the game allows.
Yep.
And every damage buff thing that my party can throw on, and I hit him with fucking Gommage about halfway through phase 2.
Gommage.
And just evaporated his fucking ass.
Okay, Gommage would do it. Yeah. Because I'm like, I have all the damage on. I have none of the life, and I have all my stats geared towards maximizing the scaling and damage points. scaling on the weapon, etc. All of it cranked, and I'm like, I don't know what's gonna hit for that number unless he's stunned, and
So
then yeah, that would make sense.
So that is called I did mine was 25 million. Some people in the chat are saying 100 million. Some people in the chat are saying like a billion.
Whoa.
There are two ways to fight Simon. You get through phase 1, everybody learns phase 1. Phase 2, you can either do the fight normal and learn phase 3, at which point you are going to learn pain like you could not imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Or you will see that one time like I did and said, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
And build your character around blowing through the health bar so hard that you don't get to see the third phase.
I look forward to it because I'm glad that at this extent, right, Guillaume and crew went, we know that people like you and I exist, and this is for you to sit here and fucking throw your ego at it, right? Because here's the bit, you talked about it many times, and like, yeah, for sure, we've it's been clear, you got to throw that painted power off when you're walking around a lot of that map. Scraping.
Yeah, hey, do you want to do the Reacher fight with Alicia? Well, turn painted power off if you actually want to have that fight and fucking do it.
And here's the thing, I turned painted power off on a lot of those, but I still had such turn skipping fuck builds that I still
took off
evaporated
for everything.
Okay, so what I did, like at a certain, I've never had such a wild experience where you want to talk about feast or famine. By the end of this game, I'm playing
Feasting so hard.
You're playing with your food, right? I'm literally like I started stopping. I wasn't doing moves anymore. I was just doing single hits, and then I'm like, let me skip my turn because they're going to die before they say all their dialogue.
Well, I got to a point with Verso where I was doing like a burn build for Verso, and it was like double burn on break, base attack breaks, combo attack 4, cheater, and all the crit buffs.
Yeah,
and like enemies were getting like fucking burn stacks of like 300 to like 900, and they were taking like millions of damage a turn unavoidable.
I did,
and it was like, oh, I can't.
So I didn't even lean into burn in that way. I tried it out a couple times early on, and then I saw some stuff that attracted my attention much more. And what I thoroughly enjoyed was the break and then unleashing full power virtuous max damage nukes on broken enemies.
That's fun.
Monaco with his level 3 will fill and break. Right?
Yeah.
So you just immediately go into life bar evaporation on everything you can see.
Honestly, they're all busted. Like CL was a character I didn't use for a lot of the game, and then I built her up at the end. And the reason I built her up at the end is because she can just make someone else's turn do double damage.
That's the point. Yes, I was gonna say, like, I tried to find her highest like DPS kind of. You know?
Her highest DPS is to feed my L.
It was her on her own. It just wasn't working. You know, even when you're like doing with her strongest abilities and critting every turn and using something that like adds extra foretell for critting, none of that was anywhere near the level of damage the other characters are doing. So I'm like, okay, you're just passing off the buck.
I don't think almost any in a game that's built in this system, I don't think anyone could ever beat the other character does twice as much damage. Right? It's just
put a meteor behind your meteor. Yeah. You know, and Verso as well was obvious. Like he had like 5 different ways to do annihilation level damage.
Yeah.
It was what I started liking. Like I'm like, which one of these has the coolest ending animation? You know, Phantom Stars looks sick when you finish it off with it. You know.
So man, is it ever vital that you pull off painted power for a bunch of things? Like the final confrontation, I beat the final confrontation once with painted power off and had a grand old time. That was a great fight. And it feels like a fight that was built assuming you had painted power off. And then I fought that fight again with painted power on, and like the fight broke.
You don't see any of the cool shit.
The cutscene like straight up like broke.
Yeah. So I did it on. You killed Renoir first phase, and then everyone's all tired and going, he keeps healing, and I was like, oh shit, whoops.
What?
And so then I reloaded. And I turned it off, and then I was still like, okay, I'm gonna hit you for 999 a piece, but you're acting once every like 15 turns that my characters get.
Yeah, because
I'm like, I have destroyed the system.
I pulled cheater off. I had picked, like, you have to work to make it a fight.
And so here's the thing, like, the game, it's fun to be busted and cruise through it, because I do admit, I'm like, anytime an enemy has nothing new to show me, I'm like, delete,
die.
Who cares? But yeah, you cut.
Oh, dude, I ran through an entire dungeon with death bomb on all my characters, and second chance.
Death bomb is which one?
Auto death bomb, and second chance. So I would enter into the fight, everyone would explode and die and kill all the random battles.
Okay,
and then they would revive so that it counted as a win. And I just ran through like an entire dungeon with that shit on.
Yeah, and I even see, like,
I was like, I don't care, you can't fight me.
Well, at the end, I saw the one, and I was like, oh, this is just for that extra flex.
One, no. The one is incredibly powerful.
When you were at
one is super strong.
So it's 105% crit, which is like, I'm already stat critting maximum. But when
that's not why it's strong.
When you're at 1 of 1 HP, does that count as low health?
It counts as full health.
It counts as full health. Okay.
Which means you can put on the 20% damage boost when at full health, Picto.
Yeah.
And also it means that that moves that take percentages of your HP and stuff like that don't do anything. They're just free.
Moves that take percentages of your health don't do anything.
Like Verso has a move that puts him to A rank but puts him down to 1 HP.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, guess what? I'm at 1 HP. So I just get free A rank at the start of the fucking fight.
Oh, okay. The subtraction moves. I see. Right. Because there's start the fight with there's high health damage boost and there's low health damage boost. So I was like, well, just pick one or the other.
Fight number 1. The first fight you ever do with the 1 on, everyone is set to 1 and 1 HP. The second fight you do with the 1 on, you are 1 of your existing max HP. So depending on which one you actually want to do, you can build it for full health builds or low health builds. The 1 lets you do either or.
Okay.
It's super good.
Because I saw it drop me to 1 of my whole bar.
Yeah, that's because that was the second fight you did.
So then
only the first fight you do after equipping it and resting, you have 1 of 1 HP. All other fights after that, you are 1 of whatever your real HP value is. So you can decide to use that Picto to either have full health 100% of the time or have like the tiniest amount of health 100% of the time.
Oh, and you choose to heal or keep it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it gives you.
It's incredible. It's a really good ability.
Well, that is not explicitly stated in that little text. I mean,
isn't.
Yeah. That's a lot of extra depth to it. Interesting. Okay. That is, that doesn't. That sounds confusing, but I get what you mean. But it's meant to be used in one or the other ways. Yeah. Okay. In any case, I mean, mechanically, I don't know. Like, there's not much else to say besides just like it's incredibly fun to parry things, and obviously, I love that a lot. I love the the challenge in like, can you adapt to an animation immediately the first time you're seeing it? Well, now
sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Well, how about we're gonna start fucking with you, right? And then also sometimes a slam is like in like 3 frames, and sometimes it's like 9, and you're like, oh god damn it, you wound up and you came down way slower, you liar.
I think there's one fight in the entire game that is like explicitly poorly designed from a numerical perspective, and it's Clair.
Because of the healing.
No, not because of the healing. Because she has way too much HP to not use painted power. But if you do use painted power, you evaporate her in like 2 hits. Like she exists in a middle ground for no one.
Maybe there needs to be Painted Power 2 where you can cap at 9999.
I was talking to people. I think there should have been Painted Power 2
Painted
where
Power
you get
2.
capped at like 100K.
100K cap. Yeah. That middle ground. I think so. Because as I'm doing these final cinematic moments, you're just like, oh, I'm playing with my food at this point, you know? The final conversation, I stopped playing to let them talk, you know?
Yeah.
I'm skipping 5 turns and doing 1 poke and then letting them talk, you know?
I would like 2 things from this game ever in the future. I would like a patch to put loadouts into the game.
Yep.
I think that would make everyone's life a lot easier.
Absolutely.
And I would like a harder difficulty.
Yep.
That
need it to be there.
That tones it doesn't increase any of the values. It just tones you down.
Agreed.
It gives you like hard maximums on Lumina and stuff like that, because like Visage and Sirene are like insanely poorly balanced for their own spot in the game, and that sucks because they're awesome.
The interesting reveal that is, like, if you are a Devil May Cry player like the director, this game, you can fucking stomp it so hard that it can't keep up with you, you know? Fortunately, the actual story going through this is fucking fascinating.
Is fascinating. It's interesting. It is so much more interesting than its own synopsis. Right? Like, hey, here comes the big spoiler. It's a painting. It's all a painting.
What does that mean?
Like,
you know,
it's the Matrix. And I got into like a yelling match with my chat over and over. And my main thing was like the question of, are people in the painting even real, is like so boring and pointless. Every character in the story treats all the people in the painting as if they are real. Renoir, in the final conversation of the game, listens to Ciel and listens to Lune
and says
that they're
you're
right.
He
doesn't care.
Right though you may be. And I was like, oh my God, right? And so that's, yes. And I think too as well, the framing of it as a painting makes it weird for, like, it tricks I think people, because if you were to call it, like you said, you're the Matrix or something, if you were to call it like a full realized reality that you're playing God in, that's one thing. But you think of it as, no, brushstrokes on a canvas, that's no big deal, that's disposable, whatever, you know? And then you have to internalize the idea that the logic of the world is so realized that people that were just stroked into existence had children who grew up normally, lived full lives, and had kids and passed away, and had nothing different from your own life, because the cycle of life is that realized in this setting.
It's also extremely clear
that
all the painted people have free will.
1,000,000%.
Because Aline did not paint an entire society of people with the hidden desire to come kill her ass.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
That was reached as a societal reality of painting.
Unintended consequences of these are realized individuals with the most free will. And to the point where, when you get down to the ethical question at the end, and it's such an interesting way to put this, you're like...
It is the most interesting ethical question I've ever seen.
It's so fascinating, because it's like, are you a dumbass who's just going to stick by the idea of like, no, none of this matters, you're just distracting yourself? Like, no, you're choosing to sacrifice one or the other, right? There's no in between here, right? And
the just, oh, it's not real, this is obvious, is like so
not
boring.
A conversation.
It's so boring.
Right? And that's the bit, is where you're like, the conversation between
the villain doesn't even believe that.
The conversation between Maël and Renoir is so much more compelling than the version between Maël and Verso, because you're like, Verso, Verso, you know this, right?
Okay,
you're like, come on, dude, right? And I think
we all.
But here's what's so interesting too, is the idea that, like, for him, on his version, because you did both, of course, right?
Of course I did both.
Okay. Which did you do first?
I did Maël's.
Okay. Same. and then I went back and did Versos.
I did Versos, and then I reloaded my save to keep my L's.
So yeah, I did both, and I kind of want to go back and do that as well, because that's exactly it, right? And the thing with Versus, because when we're talking earlier about Cyberpunk and giving people that like seeing their perspective on it, and in this game, it's super interesting to see like everyone's why they're convinced to believe what they believe, and everyone admits we only care about the ones close to us while we're making others suffer, right?
Every single character. Every character, all the painted characters, all the painted versions of existing characters, all the real world versions of those same people, all the painted people who have no analog, the Gestrels, the fucking ice dudes, every single person is a hypocrite, and they say it out loud. They go, "We are all hypocrites, and we just keep doing this to each other."
Right. What I find go ahead.
So every single person is right in their own mind.
Yes.
Because all of their priorities are different. Every single one goes, this is the thing that I care about.
Yes.
Here are my reasons that this is what I care about.
Yes.
And nothing you say will
change
ever
my mind.
convince me to change my mind.
Yeah.
And all of them are compelling. Every single one of them is compelling. All I have to do is move my perspective over like an inch and go, well, if I was a painted version of me, and all I had was a real dead family out there that was killing themselves, the only thing I would care about is my real family.
And that's the beauty of like Renoir's final bit, where he's basically like, he's being lied to, but he's like, I want to believe in my daughter. It's going to just bring my heart a little bit of peace to believe that you mean what you're saying.
He doesn't. When he says, I'll leave the light on for you, he knows immediately.
But he's choosing to be like, oh, okay, you know? And you're like, fuck me, that's so much more painful, right? The Verso question is one where he's...
Oh, I need to stop you for a second. We all can agree that Verso is like one of like history's greatest monsters, right?
I'm not there with you.
He is the most lying piece of shit that's ever been.
I'm not there with you on it. I see where he's at, and I know, because I can see how it's like the game is meant to be like divisive and have these messes, and he has one that's very, very hateable on the surface there. But I think, to me, at the very least, I think his problem is there's two things. You see him going through the whole game being like undecided, and you see it. He's like, right? He's looking at like what he's compelled to do, what he's painted to do, and you're looking at him seeing his family and having all those memories and stuff, and kind of being like, I'm okay with the bad outcomes here, and not exactly trying too hard to
and you can read his old message about how he had to fucking kill his girlfriend, but it's like, it's okay, once we fix this, we'll just bring everybody back.
You see him, you see that look on his face constantly of him being like, I don't know. It's really interesting, right? And I feel like the moment you finally get to know him is the last lines. It's him on the ground suffering, just being like, I can't live like this. I can't. It's the most selfish in the moment, purest form of where he's at the whole time. And to be fair to him, his circumstances are completely different from everyone else's.
And they're awful. They're terrible. Like, he was born out of like a sorrow of a wish of an image of a dead person.
And the remnant of the original is left to be that child in Omelas, the one who must sit there doing this forever in order for the system to work, right? You tell the kid that needs to sit there the whole time that's your job forever now, right? And you don't get enough of that kid's, like, you get the energy that it's like, he's like, maybe I should. Maybe, you know, but he's also willing to listen to Verso. Yeah,
Painted Verso.
Right?
When you do very rarely get to talk to Painted Verso, and usually you don't know that you're talking to Painted Verso.
So you be the one that tell him that he needs to go through that forever, you know?
Well, here's the thing. He doesn't want the painting to go either. There is a line of dialogue you find. He feels that the people in the painting are real, and he loves his painting. Painted Verso's primary issue is that his painting is destroying his real family. And it is.
Yes.
It is destroying his real family.
And he knows that the memory also, there's two things of him, right? There's two things going on. One, there's the baseline idea that immortality is torture, right? It's just
very From Software,
right?
Discussion.
Clear. Then there's the idea that the memory of who I'm based on is doing the worst thing to the people I care about the most, right?
Yeah.
And to that end, I am somebody who would self-sacrifice myself to end that and bring them peace.
Absolutely.
But that agency has been removed from me, right?
Yes.
And so now the idea that it's like, so we go through this whole motion where he is not looking at these people that he's equal to as lesser than. He's not seeing it with the eyes of a god. He's amongst them, but he's still willing to sacrifice because of his own version of his own struggle. Is like, no, what matters to me the most is I can't live like this, right? It is one where when you look at the Mael version of things, it's fucked because you're like, oh, she chooses to live in this, which is the life-preserving outcome. Let's be real. Yeah. But she finds an outcome for him that is, okay, what if you could age?
Well, she asked him, if you could grow old, would you smile?
Would that give you a reason to smile, right? And that was a thing where it's like, that was an outcome that I get that he was not factoring in an all or nothing situation.
But he still hates it. You can tell he hates it.
And there's that moment, and the brilliance of that like short film is, look, it's the happy ending. Everything is great. Never forget what the fucking truth is. Never forget that outside the frame, someone with a fucked up, bloody, blue-eyed, banging their head against the wall reality is just living in here forever, and Renoir is staring at that. Never forget that. I've gone in a
circle about this. I've gone in a circle. So when I got the Mael ending, so Mael and Versus endings are beautiful because they are Clair Obscur. Mael starts beautiful, sunny, hopeful, ends in darkness to make you feel bad about the idyllic situation you created. And then on the flip side, Verso's ending forces CL to just kill herself at the altar of the fucking painting, and Lune sits down and stares him down and goes, "You're gonna look at me when you kill me. You're gonna fucking look me in the eye."
That is my favorite. That is my favorite thing of the whole ending sequence. The best part of that entire thing. Because okay, hold on a second. Who did you form a relationship with, if anything?
Lune.
Okay, same.
Yeah.
Right. I waited, and it paid off. Right?
Yeah,
absolutely. I was hoping that it was like, this was like, I'm like, oh, we got options? Please tell me we got options. And fucking, hey, we have options, right? So I went Lune. And when that moment happens and you see CL walk in and you're like, oh, that's brutal. He hugs the friends. Okay, what's up now, dude? What are you going to say to her, right? And she's like, you don't even get the fucking chance. You don't get the chance. No. I'm going to sit right here on the other side and you're going to fucking look at me as you do this.
Listen, like, she's not going to walk in and disintegrate. She's not going to leave and give him the chance to forget about her. No, it's like, if you're going to do this, you're going to look me in the eye. But then we get the Descendre acquiescing to their grief and moving on.
Also, you also see the moments too where like CL having that like that conflict with her, facing her earlier backstory, which is the saddest fucking thing in the world.
It's the saddest thing. It's crazy.
It's the saddest thing in the world.
To me, CL's backstory is the moment that I ceased caring about the level of reality of anyone in Lumiere.
Done and done, right?
Because Aline created these people and put them in this situation to endure these hardships. I don't care how real they are. They're real to me, damn it.
More importantly, CL's story, she is realer than the entire Descendre family with a backstory like that.
She had the same thing happen to her that fucking the Descendre adults had, but she moved on.
You are
in a progressive, constructive way.
And has when you're talking about like this game about grief and handling grief, she's been the fuck through it more than anyone else has and understands it, right? And so that's why when she comes through at the end, that she's fighting for the world and she's fighting for their reality, but is also like, I'm seeing an old friend, right? I'm returning to this abyss that I almost once entered myself and tried to, right? If not for fucking Esquier, right? And she can accept that with a dignity That's different.
Mhm.
But Lune, the entire game, has been fighting, crawling, scraping
Driven.
for survival. There is no give up in her whatsoever. And all the way to the end, like the shock on her face the first time, right, in the harbor is clear. She's just like, what the fuck did we do this? And he gives that look. And now when she knows that it's all been for what, dude? That sit.
So I think it's genius because like
caved in on that sit down.
Lune and CL like mirror the Descendre, and like Lune is somebody defined by the legacy of her parents and feels like she never had her own path to go forward, so she had to be super gung-ho about technology and the expedition, but that wasn't really what she wanted to do. She wanted to do music, which is what happened with all of the Descendre kids.
Yep.
We have the perfect eldest daughter who's a total prodigy, and then you have a musician who's implied that he should be painting, and then we have a writer who should be painting, and it backfires on her, which is why Alicia has her method of talking to the audience is via a very, very well-written prose letter instead of dialogue or music.
Oh, okay.
That's why she writes a letter, because she is a writer.
I didn't get that. Okay, that makes sense.
Also, let's just speed past the fact that they mentioned the Writers
like
Guild one time,
the sequel,
and it's like, what the fuck is
whatever.
going on with that? That's a bunch of Alan Wakes over here doing goofy shit.
The interpretation of her potentially being like, that it's not expressly spelled out, but that is a moment of a character. Yeah, I can buy that. That makes sense.
Okay, so I've spun in a circle about these endings, right? Because like, yes, Verso's ending has the cleanest break, and he is like massacring an entire generation of people, but the people who caused this can actually heal, and maybe it is better for Mael to live in the real world. He is horribly disfigured and can't speak. So it's very easy to understand why she would go and live in Lumiere and keep all the people.
I mean,
and I go round and round and round
understandable,
and round. Yeah. Because everybody had a good reason. I think Eileen is the only person. She's like objectively evil. Like I think we cycle around to the paintress being the worst person in the story for causing this nightmare of misery.
But I still fight back on that, and I still push back, because even though you can circle around and then land on that, the moment of extreme grief from a mother in that, you're not thinking clearly. You're just vibing. You're just going on, my suffering is all I can see. There's nothing in front of me but despair. I can't take that part away from the equation of her character. Right.
So then I go, well, Verso,
she's fucking grieving, man.
I hate Verso so much. And at the end of the day, my thoughts are currently resting with how much I hate Verso. And there's a really simple set of reasons for that. Both endings are terrible. Both endings are amazing. Both endings have crazy downside.
Which is the point. The absolute point. Yes, 1,000,000%.
My gut. And if I had to go with my gut at the end of the day, I'd be like, I didn't go and do this shit so that fucking Gustav did that shit for nothing.
No. And so
fuck you people. No. Gustav and Sophie and CL and Lune and Pierre and their kid, they get to live. Fuck you, and that's it.
And that's it, right?
Right.
But fundamentally, and that is to do what the characters kind of do as well, to say, I care about what I care about the most, regardless, right? It is the same thing. And this is a difference between our personalities directly, because I say and look at it and go, every single one of these people is Clair Obscur. They're all... There's a little bit of that darkness inside every good solution. And
I got my boy, right? I can put myself in Renoir's shoes or Eileen's shoes.
Dude, I want my family. I don't care, man. This is insane.
Even considering it is a nightmare. And then my priority would be rock solid, and I don't give a shit who has to fucking go. Like, I don't give a fuck, right? And round and round. And the reason why I focus on Verso, painted Verso specifically, is because there's un vie à t'aimer, there's the life to love, and there's a vie à peindre, which is a life to paint, which is our two really bad endings. And on Spotify, they both have 11-minute tracks associated with them. However, there is a third 11-minute piece of music called Un vie à rêver, which is a life to dream, which is written on Alicia's letter to Verso.
Yes, that is what's written. Yeah.
Alicia's letter to Verso says basically, all of you are totally intractable. Like no one is willing to budge a single inch in the entire discussion. And that is what is causing the problem because no one can compromise. The compromise, even Verso's fucking painting, even the painting itself says, you know, if this wasn't annihilating my fucking family and Aline and Renoir and Alicia and Claire could come visit.
That's what I was waiting for.
And leave?
Yes. Would
actually, we could maintain fucking Lumiere in everyone's lives. We could move past grief. And you know what Verso does with that letter? He fucking throws it away.
He tosses it, right?
And that's Verso's legacy on the game. He allows Gustav to die on purpose because it would allow him to manipulate Maëlle. But Gustav would have argued for Verso's point.
If Gustav would have pushed Maëlle out, he would not have allowed her to stay.
Gustav would have been able to convince Maëlle to leave.
He would have never let her stay, 100%, right? That's clear. I think that wrinkle is what's so fucking fascinating is because what we were gearing up for right before he walks through is a situation where I go, okay, if everyone can compromise, then we can have a world where look, you'll come to visit and you'll leave sometimes and that'll be okay, right? And that's all there is to it. We can continue having things exist and nobody has to go to the extremes and we don't have to have this destruction and horrible suffering, but we can also say, you can visit the people you care about over here and continue to have your family over there, right? But you walk through and you have that thing with the letter, which is, again, a horrendous thing. But what else is going hand in hand with that letter is the idea of forcing this immortal suffering on a person who's the one who must deal with it. Everyone else can do what they want, but one must suffer eternally. And like, you can weigh the cost benefits all you want over the numbers, but tell the person who's suffering forever, too bad, fucking deal with it.
I would have a lot more sympathy. I would have a lot more sympathy for Painted Verso, even in his immortal suffering, if he wasn't a traitorous monster at every opportunity.
And the thing about the child is that we are not given enough, we're given enough ambiguity on the willingness of the child to continue, but just because a child is willing to continue, it's not clear that that's actually an existence that would not be torturous to them, right? You can't say for certain that the ghost-faced fucking child painting forever is a happy outcome for that child. Like I can't say
it's an entirely negative one either. There's not enough.
I am calling. They walk out of what a compromise might look like, and the next door over is fucking Omelas, dude. And you're looking that or Minority Report or whatever, and now you have to go, all right, you can have your happy ending as long as one person must suffer for it.
And now we're back to Aline, in which, hey, Aline, maybe you shouldn't have turned that child into a battery for an entire universe.
But when you come up with the mechanics of how to make her, doesn't that tell you how much of an amazing painter she is? Because you're like, how is she so much more skilled than everybody else? Because she doesn't just make it; she creates the code behind the world to make the world. Right? It's a Minecraft server where you just build up a fucking building versus the one where you make it actually have a working calculator. You know, I'm so impressed by that logic of it as well.
So here's the thing: I never interpreted it as painting Verso's soul is an agony and torture. I interpret it as painted Verso is living agony and torture because he was built out of grief. All of the painted family, except for Renoir, are desperate to kill themselves because they are painted in Aline's image of themselves post-tragedy.
I think that the inner voice you hear as he's on the ground revealing his true self is the same of him as the person of the soul he's based on. And deep in that inner child as well, we're looking at a possibility that child is suffering. I don't think there's enough to convince me otherwise, right? And so you don't get a clean break on anybody here,
and you know what? And like that is so like important because like, hey, if that was my kid, I would I'd be Renoir. I like support forever, you
Your
know,
your family,
in
your
pain
family,
and
man.
agony.
Family's complicated.
But then if
you know?
if the fucking solution here is like, okay, well, in order to pull my loved one off life support, I'm gonna hit that fucking fictional button that kills a million people.
And I mean, and that's the thing is the whole time I'm wondering, I'm
and
like,
then I would slam it.
well, because if you were standing, if our positions were switched, right, that day, right? Yeah, I mean, the way Renar talks when you first enter the Act 3, and he sets up the pieces where you're like, oh, he doesn't think of these people as real, is like, no, he doesn't really believe that. He gets it. And then later on, you find out he goes, I was lost in there myself, and Aline pulled me out.
It is so,
right?
it is so wild to have the villain who is past the arguments that you're having with the party.
Yeah.
He's
I was lost in it myself, and then I got saved because it's too tempting. It's too insanely tempting to live in a world of your own making like that, you know? And God, here's how fucking great my greatest is. How great Lune. Lune is so good. She's so good. That Sid is so good. It's everything. And just, again, the part where my brain is going, I said it last time, but how does one respond to the idea that you're like, hey, you're not real. Your life doesn't matter. You're a fiction. You should be just, how do you accept that reality, you know? And the fact that she comes back from the fucking beyond and goes, fuck you, dude. I don't give a shit. I'm fighting for the same things I believe in.
This was exactly what I wanted to end the discussion on, because I think that, are they not real? Are they not? Doesn't matter. Lune and CL both come back. One, outrage.
How dare
this
you?
Bullshit.
How dare you?
Fuck you.
I don't give a shit,
me over.
dude.
Like, yeah, you got your own real family. I don't give a shit. Fuck you. You betrayed me here for real. But also, they then even go on to be like, okay, so this is a canvas. Mael and them are gods. Okay, we're going to go beat him up. You're going to bring my fucking parents back to life. You're going to bring my husband back to life.
Everything.
You're going to give me back my baby.
Everything. That's
only fair. Fuck you. We're going to go. We're going to do it. And like, they just immediately move on. And like, how could you not? Yeah. Like, if God came down right now and said, Woolie, by the way, you're not real. And you'd be like, fuck you. I don't give a shit. I'll cut you.
What are you supposed to say?
Kill you.
How beautiful, just little notes, random. How beautiful is it that the fucking curator, when he powers up, steps into his family and comes back out in the next phase? Isn't that the most beautiful? Like
it's my
frame drops and I go in and walk back out ready to take you on is so hype.
I'll one up you. I'll one up you for maybe my most pop off moment of the whole game. Where, oh no, it's the end. He's gonna go for
phase
one
2, he's doing
attack,
one more one.
And Mael's like, no! And it's like the game has a great experience with breaking the rules. The whole game, Pictos are about breaking the logos of the world. Like you are damaging the internal logic of the way the painting works. And Mael leaves the battle system to attack him. Showing that like she is now like ascended,
and it calls out the move too. It says it. He's doing it, and you're just like, no, you don't. You know, so satisfying. I mean, wondrous.
I want to give Gustav a extra shout out, as Gustav is the realest person in the story. Gustav, within the confines of the game's own logic, within the storyline, Gustav should not have been able to invent the Lumina converter. Gustav was able to create a technology that like fundamentally changes the reality of their experience.
I love the idea that what's special about you, besides just being a pretty good dude who's not built for this pressure, right? He's someone who's like, if he finds out the truth of his nature, he might have buckled, right?
Until he learned that Mael was trapped, and then he would have become
refound his strength. Yeah, I can buy that, right? But the Lumina converter is not the idea of like this in-game device that lets you like learn skills or whatever. It's the idea that everyone on the party can learn them together and break what a traditional Final Fantasy game would teach you, right?
Yeah.
It's the ability to stack up way more skills than you should be able to across the party. He broke the video game rule, you know, with his invention. I love how fucking, again, I talk about how
Like the painted power is supposed to only be given to Mael because it's hers.
but the
And
Lumina
because of
converter,
Ghostpass's converter, they can give the power of the paintress to Lune and Ciel and Monaco.
the team can fight gods because of his invention. That's not supposed to happen. That's not what Aline imagined, right?
The fact that they're able to remove Renoir at all is not supposed to be how it works.
Right. By just beating him down, mind you. And then you get like the whole unapologetic French bit, right? I'm so happy with that ending and how you almost like, you know how Japan's obsessed with Tokyo Tower and all their shit, right?
Yeah.
What the fuck else are we gonna fight under? You know, the goddamn Eiffel. And then with those endings, one, the French film that is the realistic, hyper realistic faces in black and white as you're reacting to everybody, and then the horror shot on the eyes is the most French film ever. Right?
Absolutely.
And then on the flip side, you know, with the Verso side of things, you get the Eiffel in the fucking, I mean, what amazing real estate, mind you. But did you catch the dates on the tombstone?
Yeah, December 33rd.
December 33rd, right? This is not our world.
Well, I mean, they're magic also.
Of course, in the past, mind you. But yeah. How about fucking Expedition 60?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, we greased these muscles up. We got all the way there. We got there and we did it. We beat the fucking shield down and we glistened our way to the bottom and realized the truth. And then we just weren't able to do anything about it because we didn't have a Lumina converter or a paintress on our side. But you bet your ass we fucking scuffed the damage numbers to get through.
I think this game and its endings are like a complete triumph because like my takeaway was that I was 100% certain that I was going to be Team Mael and you were going to be Team Verso, and I was like theory crafting just a bunch of shit to say.
Really?
Like
you had an invisible. You had a conversation in your head about me.
I had a Steelman conversation in my mind, and I had one, and the thing that I would say to excessively Team Verso is that like, well, did you go back and keep playing the game to do the post game challenges? Because if you did, you're a massive fucking hypocrite, right?
Oh, okay. So you think I'm going to excuse evil on the basis of they were just following orders? Do you? Are you fucking like? Listen. I'm simply saying
the core of it. And the more that I talk about it, is like, the intractability of position is the issue.
No, and I still say, no matter I will argue this forever, but I'm still choosing Mael's ending, right? I am still choosing that ending because I am saying you are giving a compromise to a solution that Verso never would have pictured, which is aging.
This is a bad compromise. Also.
It's a bad compromise.
It is an objectively bad compromise.
It gives him aging, but it creates but her reality outside in the real world is suffering forever, right? There's no win. There's no win. She's choosing that.
I can't live in a situation in which the entirety of Lumiere is annihilated. Yeah, like that's just an intolerable outcome.
That's it, right? And here's what you can compromise. Once you've made that decision and you have to start justifying your points, okay, you can't justify a child suffering indefinitely. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you. What you can say is that no matter how much you love your family, right? If your family decides that they're choosing a life without you, you cannot stop them.
Ooh, I like that.
Informed. I
want to give. By the way, I think Aline is like the worst character in this story by far. Like she's so awful. Like she is the root of all the problems. Genuinely.
Grief.
And hold on. My core of that, my absolute like I feel so strongly is like, Aline, why did you paint your daughter with her burns? Oh God, that's so true telling. It's so telling. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I don't. You created an ideal world to live with your son and family.
Oh man!
And you're like, but you know what, Alicia? You get to keep your burns. You can't talk because it's your fault.
I will give her the grief card. I will not allow that to pass. That's insane. That's so
she
fucked
is
up.
Canonically weak to
that's
fire.
That's so fucked up. Furthermore, Clair is such a weird, interesting X factor because
Leia is a character I am 100% certain we will follow in the future.
I imagine so, right? Because she is like, I don't have time for this shit. I'm the girl at college.
I gotta go kill motherfuckers.
I'm the girl at college, and my fucking family bullshit is pissing me off. And why can't you get your shit together, right?
Well, she is like they discuss it like everyone has dove into an unhealthy pursuit to deal with this, and Clair is fighting a different game's worth of a war against a group you only know as the writers.
But make no mistake, if you're gonna sit there and go, Clair is correct in her assessment that yeah, fuck this world, let's destroy it and let my childhood home is trapping my mom. Let's get them out of there, and you go help that. You need to acknowledge that Clair herself went in, fell in love, and became a part of this world. Right.
Also, she says to Mael that you don't owe anyone anything, and you should choose the life that makes you happy.
She gives her
the endless tower.
Okay.
So you don't owe mom and dad anything.
Interesting. Okay, so that I waited because I'm like, I don't want to get spoiled on ending stuff for Tower, but it's fine. But the Simon bit.
No, that's all she says.
Yeah,
she's like, you don't owe anyone anything.
The Simon bit is
I love Simon.
So that was painted Clair?
Painted Clair fell in love, yeah. And then real Clair painted Clair to make a Clair more to her liking.
Oh, I misunderstood. I thought that real Clair saw painted Clair from her mom's side and went, fuck that, I hate that, that's not me. And then I thought she also painted Simon to go kill the other representation of her.
No, Simon was one of Aline's. Simon is a freak. No. I don't know what is up with him, but he's crazy.
But he's one of he's one of Aline's paintings. He's a person, right? But what I mean to say is, I thought that Clair took him as an example and went, I'm going to use you to go take out my Axum representation from my dad. She hates her parents' representations of her in both forms. She hates her mom's version and her dad's version. Happened. And she used both of those to intervene and shut those down.
So Simon's eyes in his second phase have the charm effect like Eileen's charm. Like he is being like actively manipulated. And he is also painted over super fucking freak.
Okay, but
I like how the hauler axon is like so hidden away, like you see it and it's never brought up, and the only time the word the hauler name is when it attacks you during the final boss.
I mean,
you don't even see it.
I didn't even see it. No, I just saw it on the map with the fucking get stabbed.
Yeah, no,
you know?
it has. There's a move that Renoir does where he throws a building at you.
Okay,
but you never even see it on screen. It just throws it from far away.
So the idea that the painted Clair is the one that fell in love. So when he's hearing the voice that he's listening to the sound of that Clair before she got painted over?
No, I believe he is listening to real Clair's manipulation.
That's what I thought it was. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I thought real Clair manipulated Simon and painted over Clair to get both ends to destroy her representations, right?
Yeah.
So that's the part, but like you guys said, it was painted one that fell in love. So I guess that she could still manipulate after the fact. It doesn't matter.
There are a lot of pieces of the game that are a little clear, but the core of it is that everyone was wrong, but Verso was the most dumbest and wrong. And Verso actively sabotages all of his own goals. Like that's the thing that gets me. Is like I understand in each of the moments that he makes these decisions, like he only protects he only protects Mael, but he doesn't protect Gustav. He's like, well, this will let me do this, and he's right for a while, but like. If he had done the other thing if he had given her the letter and if Gustav was alive, there would have been a compromise.
The happiest compromise ending for the most parties involved leads to eternal suffering for me.
Well, you can blame your mom for that one. She made you like that.
You can say this.
She made you like that.
You can say this however many ways you want to say it. It doesn't matter. You're never going to erase that fact. I'm like, that's the beauty of the game. You will never erase that fact, no matter how convinced you are. It's such a good game. It's
Well,
so
it's good then that I don't really like Verso so much. So fuck him.
Game of the generation, man. I mean,
it's pretty unbelievable. It also makes me think, like, did real Verso also kind of suck ass? Because this is like
you're
his
eyeballing
mom.
that child, being like, "You fuck kid."
No, but like,
a little shit kid
she
face.
painted Verso based on her own view of her child, and the painted Verso kind of sucks and is a massive liar.
That's not my read on it. My read on it is Verso was the spoiled, could do no wrong boy.
Oh yeah, he was the eldest boy. Absolutely.
And the grief they feel might not have been. I don't know if it would have been the same if the other kids passed away.
No, it's not. She paints a fucked up, burned Alicia.
You know, the idea that he is the star, the phantom star. You know,
I also think
you
that,
just can't.
Verso
you can't do that to your
in the
kids,
real
man.
world. I also think Verso in the real world might have sucked because of his axon. So Aline is Sirene, who is the family member who just bombards you with visions of your dead loved ones, which is a little on the nose.
Oh, that's what made me fall. Like, that's okay. The music of that moment. I didn't go on my rant about Sirene being beautiful. Sorry, go ahead.
I just got to get through this.
Yeah.
The hauler is Clair, who is the backbone of the whole family.
Holding it on her back. She carries it on her back. She literally does.
Maëlle is the princess who's destined for great things.
Reaching.
And Verso is a two-faced liar. Like, his dad painted him as the masked visage.
Amazing. Yeah. And, you know, I was wondering if, like, are you going to elaborate on exactly how the tragedy happened? And you don't need to. Like, you can.
That's not really important.
But it's not what's important because it's all about the fallout afterwards and the blame game. You know, and then this exact idea of like, oh no, the one that should not have died, you know?
I think there's one detail that would really fuck up the whole arguing about the game, and they do a really good job not going into it, which is, what is the time ratio of time passing in the real world?
Yeah, 67 years. What does that mean? Yeah,
because it's like, I don't know, like, did Renoir fucking like walk out of the painting and then Alicia drop dead 10 minutes later?
I mean, I think
like what? How?
No, I think painted power makes you kind of a god, you know, in reality too. Like you just gotta check out on that. I mean, Verso standing there in the flames, being like, "Nah, it's cool. I like it actually."
No, you're good.
You know, God, yeah. Fuck, I had another thing, but anyway, it's great. It's
peak game, very good game, excellent game, very smart game.
Too many things.
I think people arguing about which is the right ending are maybe missing the point, and I think that's kind of amazing because both endings are terrible. Both endings are amazing, and both endings are terrible. And I love that one starts positive and ends in a nightmare, and one starts with a nightmare and ends positive.
Yes, thank you.
Like you don't get a resolution for free on either.
Chat just reminded me. So I was gonna say that, like, I popped off over the Sirene fight, and I didn't go into it over here, whatever you could, but just like the journey through that long massive dungeon that took so long, and like my exploration to like find the fake corners was like,
oh, it's enormous,
getting punished
crazy
for that. And then the musical denouement into the finale, and the lyrics are beautiful. The like it hit on every level, and all of that like was amazing. And then when the fight ends and you have that I'm going to show you your loved ones bit, fuck me, I just shit. Like I just, and
then you're such a manipulative fucking piece of shit.
Oh my god, you know. And then who steps up and pulls it down? Pulls it down. Fucking Lune gets up and goes, nah, fuck this, and she's the one that pulls it down, you know. I love everything about that, what fucking represents. You also never get the hard underline about Monoko being the dog, but
yeah, it's like, oh.
I was waiting for that. He's a
loyal companion, and he's a rough and tumble guy, and he loves feet. And oh, right, he's a dog.
They like they didn't have a moment when during the funeral where they're like, "Hey,
He's a dumb idiot dog. Look at him,
little chien monoko," But yeah, that's and you know what you do get in that second ending though, you do get to watch the family get closure.
Mm-hmm.
You do get to watch.
Yeah, I don't care about them.
No. You're seeing the best. You're seeing the best resolution they could have, while acknowledging that you just wiped out billions of lives. And they ghost away too. They fucking force ghost, and you're just like,
Renault says something in his like final monologue in which he's like, we're painters and we found ourselves enthralled and intoxicated by hundreds of worlds and all that. And he's like, they're talking about television and movie and game and inhabited spaces and escapism. Right. And it's like, it's so easy. Right. And then under that context,
yeah.
For me, it's like the discussion about are they real or not? I'm like, well, the Songos aren't fucking real either. I am the painter of their fucking reality. And I don't give a shit about them compared to the people one level.
When I say billions of lives, do you not think that a place existing with a population over enough period of time will have had a billion people come and go over time? It's a real living world, guys. It doesn't have to be a planet to be a billion people. You can just wait long enough and you'll get there. It's lives snuffed out.
All right.
Yeah.
I got things to do.
That's
have a good week.
We did it. Take care, everybody. Amazing.
Bye-bye.